Hey, it's Jessica DaMassa with WTF Health. I'm here right now with Megan Coder. She's the Executive Director for the Digital Therapeutics Alliance. So Megan, it's good to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here today.
Thank you. So it's interesting, I feel like this last year, the term digital therapeutics kind of all of a sudden exploded outside of digital health.
Everywhere now.
Yeah, it is. So explain to me, I guess, the alliance here.
Yes.
How long has this been around and what are you guys trying to do?
So about 2 years ago, actually at this conference, my initial group of members came together to talk about there's a need for this. So they realized that there really wasn't a way for other companies, providers, patients, payers, regulatory agencies to understand what really is or is not a digital therapeutic. So it keeps getting lumped in with a lot of other tools and products out there. So what our goal really has been, the initial phase was, let's come together as an industry and form an alliance or trade association for people to really talk about what is this and how are they different and what value do they bring. So really that's been our work this whole first year, and now the second year we're going to be doing a few more different things. But that's really what's enabling us to keep moving.
Okay, so how are you carving out the difference? What is the difference between a digital therapeutic versus an health solution, if anybody even uses that anymore, or a digital health application, or any of the other stuff that there's so many different phrases that we use to describe this. Even Livongo's using applied health signals now as a category. Yeah, that's a cool.
There's so many new terms.
No, there's so many. So how are you carving out digital therapeutics? What exactly is the definition from the organization?
So under the digital health umbrella, there are many different buckets of digital tools that are used for health purposes. So compared to digital adherence or diagnostic or even telehealth platforms, digital therapeutics are tools that use software algorithms to actually deliver treatment directly to a patient that's intended to prevent, manage, or treat a medical disease or disorder.
Okay, so you've got to have the diagnose, prevent, or treat of a medical disorder, and it's directly for that purpose that it exists.
Yep, and it has to be delivered by software. So that's the interesting part of this, is that it has to be directly delivered to a patient, or generated at least. So there's a way that you can go about it. The software could generate intervention that would be delivered maybe by human service or by a medication. But it's really that software delivering that intervention, that generating it and delivering it is really part of what a digital therapeutic is.
Okay, no, that makes sense. No, we're hearing the easy place where this whole category is just seems to have its clearest identity is obviously partnered with pharmaceuticals. So this is the pill plus or the beyond the pill stuff, where it's there is something else maybe, or maybe there's not, but then there's this accompanying piece of software that assists or does something extra that whatever that traditional delivery mechanism for either a medication or a diagnostic or whatever it is, it's working in tandem with that basically.
So that's one category of it. And then you also have the category of them that actually are replacing a medication. So it could be used independently or actually alongside of a medication. So there are those two different sides of it. So it makes the industry really robust in the terms of opportunities you have for it, and have to actually address different disease states and whatnot. But there's just a variety, and there's a lot here, but what we're really doing at the Alliance is trying to find a way that we can talk about what are the core principles that underpin all of those. So despite all the variety, what are the things that really must be achieved by all digital therapeutics if you're going to claim to be a digital therapeutic?
So I have a question. Why are we carving this out as opposed to any other segment of digital health? Why is this one becoming carved out? Does this have anything to do with the FDA regulations around this? Why have you guys taken on this particular segment?
So this is actually, when you think about it, something totally new. It's something that we're actually using digital in a way that a medication would be looked at. So if you are going to be prescribing this by a physician or a healthcare provider to a patient to either replace or go alongside a medication, it's something that's going to be perceived a lot differently. So you're going to have a randomized controlled trial to prove its outcomes. You're going to likely have to go under FDA clearance. You're going to have to go under a provider's umbrella. You have to integrate into the EHR. So it is something different than health and wellness for the sake of health and wellness, which is good, but just a very different area. So there's a lot more that goes into it. It wouldn't be necessary for a pure play adherence product necessarily to go under a randomized controlled trial. It wouldn't make sense.
Right.
But if you're going to be claiming to treat a disease, you have to back it up. So those are the types of things that we're talking through.
So I know a lot of the digital therapeutics companies, the startups that I will talk to, will oftentimes say what's really a challenge for them is that they're getting pushed into these we need a clinical trial, we need some sort of evidence backing of this. But what they're saying is, well, by the time I go through said clinical trial or whatever, it's going to be irrelevant because my product is changing and evolving so rapidly. It's a software product. So, like, have you guys been hearing that? I mean, are you on the same side of that? Is that really a valid argument from these digital therapeutics companies? Or, like, I mean, what do you think? I mean, you're in a position where you're brokering the relationship between, like, the healthcare establishment that's looking to maybe safeguard these things, as well as the startups that are looking to play in this space. So what's your stance on that?
I think that question has a good balance. We are intending to see products that are really being improved as they go. So you will see, as real world evidence keeps showing the value of what the product is doing, are the outcomes being delivered in the right way? Are patients, are the safety being recognized? Are they being effective? So there will be iterations to products consistently just to make sure that they're doing what they need to do. However, I don't foresee us having a situation where a product will start one way, have a randomized control trial done, and then as it continues to go into market, that'll be so unrecognizable by that point, that's changed so much that a patient wouldn't even recognize it.
Right.
So I think for therapeutic standpoint, you're not going to see iteration to the point of not being able to even recognize the product, but you will see iteration in the terms of make sure it's improved, making sure it's doing what it says it's doing in a consistent quality way.
Okay. I want to transition a little bit and talk about the Digital Therapeutics Alliance, like as an organization.
Okay.
So are you guys like actively seeking members for this, or like what is like the structure of what we're talking about here? Are you just working with regulators? Are you working with startup companies? What is your makeup? What are you guys trying to do as an organization?
Wow. So what we're trying to do is really bring together people in the industry and companies in the industry who are creating, developing, manufacturing, and supporting digital therapeutics.
Okay.
So that could be companies who are actually developing them themselves. It could be technology companies who are lending assistance with their expertise in technology systems. It could be pharmaceutical life science companies who are partners in every step of the process. So we're really bringing everyone together to really, again, define this industry, talk about what the core principles are that all products should have, and then we're starting to look at how do we actually educate patients, healthcare providers, payers, and regulatory agencies. There's so much confusion right now in the industry. So, I mean, clarifying what we've been talking about is step one. But then we're going to look at if you're claiming your product is clinically validated, what does that really mean? We have to figure that out. If you're talking about what value does a payer get from these, we need to provide them with those resources so they understand why this is different, why this is special, and really what they should be considering as they move forward.
Very good. So on tap for this next coming year, I mean, you're getting the word out, you're defining your space, you're recruiting people to kind of come along with you on this like march toward defining the segment of the industry, which is all great. But it's like, do you have a big goal that you want to accomplish this year beyond that? Like anything policy-wise that we should know about or keep our eye on for you?
Policy-wise, I think we're still under development phases with that yet. So I think we'll see more, as more people understand what this is, you're going to start to see more policy ideas coming out. I think the idea of CMS recognizing these is going to be important. In the UK, NHS and NICE just put out a fantastic document around how do you actually assess the evidence for effectiveness for these products, and how do you assess the economic health economic outcomes for them too.
Okay.
So I think you're starting to see different governments starting to take action, which is really encouraging because you're doing it in a systematic way that brings legitimacy to this industry, but also shows that there's a huge potential. If we do this right and we do it well, this could really actually change people's lives, which I'm excited about.
Of course. And so last question for you.
Yes.
Best advice for a startup company that is in this space? Like, I am a digital therapeutic startup. What should I do?
Oh, there's so many things. So when we're talking about what really goes into making a digital therapeutic, we're looking at the quality systems that need to be in place. We're looking at the regulatory side. We're looking at cybersecurity, patients' privacy and protection. So we're looking at all of these aspects. So developing a digital therapeutic is much more than just, I have a really cool algorithm and we're going to put it out just for patients now.
Yeah.
So there's so much that goes into it that I would just recommend talk with someone who's in this space, get to know other people who can really give insight, because this industry, we're really in it for the right reasons right now, and people are really wanting to help and engage and encourage and mentor. So I think really starting there is really important, because there's a large burden and responsibility that comes with being a digital therapeutic. So you can't just put a title on a product and call it a digital therapeutic until you've met all these principles, because again, that responsibility is huge. But also the potential to really do something meaningful is just as large too.
Megan, thanks so much for talking to us. Good luck with the Digital Health Alliance. For those of you who are looking for that, make sure you get in touch with her, get in touch with the Alliance. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Jessica DaMassa with WTF Health.